In 2011, with New York City Department of Cultural Affairs funding distributed through the Brooklyn Arts Council, I created an embroidered portrait of Brooklyn love called the Brooklyn Love Exchange and collected stories from friends and strangers, both through email, Facebook, and social media tools, and in person at events like the Dumbo Arts Festival, where I discovered that I needed to find people with stories from places like Seagate and Coney Island, and I started filling in those literal gaps in my map and gaps in my connection to Brooklynites in some areas. I alternated between stitching on site and sitting at a table and greeting visitors. I was thrilled that friends like Cynthia Alberto, the director of Weaving Hand Studio in the Navy Yard in Brooklyn, showed up. She and I have been artist and designer friends for years, and I, until that day, didn't know much about her relationship at the time. I took copious notes as she talked, and we became closer just based on having this conversation and getting to know each other better through the collaboration of making work about something everyone's interested in, really, human connectedness and love, and how the spirit survives all kinds of traumas to still be able to form connections to others. And Cynthia and I still collaborate in other ways. The note-taking and the physical act of embroidery served as records of this event, as well as this video footage, which was taken by my friend Luke Hoorelbeke. He chose at times to take more abstract imagery, like focusing on Cynthia's hands and her body language as a portrait rather than her face. He also didn't always include the audio. He didn't mic me. So there's no real record of the conversations other than the notes I took and the actual embroideries, which contain the words of the participants and of my impromptu collaborators from that day. As I stitched, sometimes children would come over and get curious about the process, and I would teach them to stitch, and they would actually add some stitches themselves. I met this wonderful couple. Their story blew me away. They met in junior high school at age 13. They were too young to date, and the woman's grandparents were quite strict and made her promise not to date until she had a college degree. So they were still in touch in college and very close. And after year one, he gave her 3 dolls, signifying he was willing to wait 3 more years for her hand. And they are now married. She was very savvy, got an associate's degree after 2 years, so they did start dating after she had that degree. She continued on and got a bachelor's degree. I reached out to them recently when I was revisiting this video footage, and they updated me. They are now about to have their 7th year wedding anniversary, which will take place on September 29th, and that's 3 years to the date that we met at the Dumbo Arts Festival, and they became part of this project and really helped fuel my imagination and reignite my faith in old-fashioned romance versus a lot of the online and app-fueled dating that takes place these days. Back at the map, I would say this project overall encouraged me not only about love, but about how strangers help each other and form unexpected collaborations to make new work.